Welcome to the Lust Triggers webinar. Hi, I'm Susan Bratton, and my husband and I have been through everything I'm about to share with you. I'm living proof that it's not only possible to have a 180-degree change in appetite, but that it's possible to turn wifely duties into her favorite job. After 11 years of marriage, we had become platonic, which made us both miserable for very different reasons. And it wasn't just us. It seemed like everyone we knew felt physically abandoned, contemplating divorce. Why would our good-hearted, seemingly compatible friends all be wrestling with this lack of intimate connection? To reverse our downward spiral, we went to workshops, therapists, read books, tried everything. My determined man took control to revive my drive and switch the passion back on. Now you're going to get the exact tools that will overcome her resistance issues. Even if one day she feels too fat, the next day too tired, and she hasn't let you make love with the lights on and her nightie off for years. This whole Revive Her Drive 4-step turnaround plan is our desire to have every couple enjoy the kind of breathless, deeply satisfying, incredibly intimate connection that only a couple who has hot sex can have. During this webinar, I'm going to explain a number of things. I'm going to tell you the reason, the secret, and the plan to revive her drive. First, a common reason why so many intimate relationships get worse instead of better over time. Then, the 2 conditions and 2 skills that every man needs to keep his sexual connection hot with his lady. Some data from our research about how common this lack of great sex is. 10 seduction tips you can try tonight that she will love and appreciate. A story of a man's sex life turnaround so you can see how he did it. The 4 questions to ask yourself to see if this information can help your situation. A typical fast return path action plan. And after the webinar, I'm going to email you 2 free ebooks and a free audio collection right from Revive Her Drive. The free samples that I'm going to give you are an ebook called Is Her Sex Drive Repairable? Another ebook called The Stealth Turnaround Tricks for a Conflict-Free Approach, and an audio sampler called 21 Deadly Seduction Mistakes Men in Relationship Make That Destroy Her Arousal. I'll tell you how to get those in a little while. And toward the end, I will tell you about the program I created so you can see how the details of everything I'm going to share now fit together. And finally, I have a couple of sexy bonuses to tell you about right at the end. Everything I'm going to share came from our research, intimate interviews, and expert opinions, so we could help our friends start enjoying each other again sensually. Listen, how would you like a shortcut to all the great sex you can handle? Yes, silly, with your wife or your girlfriend. I promise this webinar will show you the plan to inspire your woman to eagerly want more sex more often with you. Now, there's a question box below this webinar video for you. If you have a question at any time, tap it in there and I'll try to answer it during the webinar. And if I can't, well, I will answer it afterward. There are some ground rules to play with me today. 1, I need you to be kind to me. 2, this is actually how I talk, so don't make fun of it. And 3, I want you to know I truly want to help you. No matter if your physical intimacy with your wife or girlfriend has been on autopilot for a while now, or even if your sex life's been on a downhill slide for longer than you'd care to remember, even if it's been months or literally years since you've had that kind of sex where she's impatient to rip your clothes off and have her fill of you, I'll show you how you can put your sex life on an upward pleasure spiral. I'm about to give you an unfair advantage to seduce your woman. Again, precisely in the way she wants you to. This is gold. If you want her to be more kissy and affectionate, to want to put her hands all over you constantly, if you want to be that rare man who enjoys a lifetime of mind-blowing passion with your lady, even if she stopped touching you at all, afraid it might lead to something, if you crave way more variety and spontaneity in your sex life, if you want to feel like a man again, that confident spring in your step that only comes from truly satisfying your woman, it is entirely reasonable for you to want her to ache for you as she prances around in racy lingerie and provocative high heels. Even if, right this moment, you're cranky and frustrated by her frequent sexual rejection. Listen, you both deserve passionate abandon and total surrender to your mutual pleasure. And you deserve her utter devotion to you, too. And you can have it once you know how to romance and love her the way she needs it. Want to know why the fact that your lovemaking trailed off isn't anything you did or are doing wrong, and it's not her fault either? This inevitable decline actually happens to nearly everyone who's in a relationship longer than a couple of years. I'll explain why. Then I'll tell you exactly what to do to systematically overcome whatever resistance or numbness exists between you two now. So that sensual little creature you used to make scream in ecstasy will melt into your arms again. So she becomes a yes to your offers, and your sex life gets back on that upward spiral, better even than when you were first dating. Just watch. Now, 81.7% of men in relationship are frustrated or dissatisfied with their sex life. In our sex life satisfaction survey, we realized that most of you aren't getting what you want. And before you can take her higher, you gotta get her loving it. So it turns out there are 4 common reasons that make her lose interest in sex with you. 1, you become just friends. That's platonic. Stress and exhaustion take their toll, jobs and kids, health problems, emotional issues. The 4 common situations create a world of pain. Just listen to what men have told me. These are verbatims. The last time I remember making passionate love to my wife was when our son was conceived, and he's 4 years old now. She only lets me have her during commercial breaks now. She whips off her underpants and says, "Get busy. You have 6 minutes." Ugh. One guy told me, "Her lack of affection is the most damning part of my existence." Sound familiar at all? Afraid there's nothing that can fix this widening chasm? Or do you simply want to make darn sure you keep your sex life on that upward pleasure spiral with great seduction skills? Maybe you are already her sexual trainer. Lucky. Constantly searching for new ways to get her off. We have that. Hey, even if it's been so long that you think icicles have frozen over her pootie like jail bars, you are ready to discover the 2 skills and the 2 conditions that will get you more intimate connections. See why I guarantee she will come willingly back into your arms. No matter how long it's been, and even without discussing it with her, I've got something for you. This simple plan that you can control on your time frame is based on female-friendly, positive psychology. The easy tips and strategies are things she'll really like you to do. If she finds out you're doing it, she'll actually appreciate you more because she's dying for you to romance her. And the first steps that revive her drive are exactly what she wants but can't articulate to you. as long as you once had good sex together and you're ready to lead her to new heights of pleasure. If sex together has never been good, you can benefit from this, but you might also need more techniques to give her orgasms or maybe help lasting longer. Still, these seduction skills are a foundation for a great sex life. So if you're willing to let go of any anger or resentment you have, once I explain why it's not your fault or hers, if she's not suffering from a real physical or emotional health problem that requires a doctor's help, and you need tools that romance her in a way that, frankly, gets you laid. Okay, I promised you the reason, the secret, and the plan, and I'm going to give it to you. The reason your love life is lackluster now is likely biology. Dr. Helen Fisher, a highly respected anthropologist at Rutgers University, studied 60 world cultures and found love chemicals like oxytocin and vasopressin start to wane as early as 2 to 3 years into a relationship. Scientists have proven now that 7-year itch is a biological fact, and it's caused by this natural, inevitable decline in hormones. After a couple years or maybe a couple babies, her love chemicals vanish. It starts sometimes as early as 2 to 4 months into a relationship and often 2 to 4 years into every relationship. All those chemicals that were coursing through her body as she fell in love with you start to decline the longer she's with you. Couples married over 3 years have less than a third of the sex that new couples have. Now, most guys can usually suck it up for at least a couple of years after her interest in sex wanes. But no wonder 50% of marriages end in divorce. The other 50%? Sadly, so many men resign themselves to a sexless marriage, gutting it out or waiting for the right time to leave their wife. So, if you don't have this turnaround secret, what's going to happen to your sex life? 5, 10, 20 more years of not getting good sex? That crappy feeling of anger and resentment that is building up inside you. Your vitality evaporating. Your manhood petering out. Thank you for being on my webinar today, willing to consider doing something about this. Millions and millions of men are in your same intolerable situation. It's completely natural and healthy for a man's ego to want his woman to have erotic adventures her whole life. When her love chemicals wane, though, it whacks your sex life upside the head harder than a big thug in a dark alley. Nutshell? Once she's been with you long enough to have babies, she's biologically programmed to be done with you sexually. I'm sorry. So if you don't revive her drive, her interest in sex withers as her love chemicals vanish. But it doesn't have to be this way for you. I can assure you it is possible for any man who knows these secrets to lead your woman to the place where she wants you again for sex, where her body issues melt away and she just lets go, where she's getting the kids to bed early and lighting the candles and putting on music loud enough to cover up her moans. You want this same foolproof method my husband used to reignite our sex life? I'm living proof. And I attribute my happiness to the intimate relationship I have now with my man. So here's the secret to counteract this natural biological phenomenon of waning love chemicals. The secret. In order to get her back how it was when you first met, before you can even take her higher, you have to reawaken her to her sensual self. You have to help her feel her body sensations again. But her brain, it's going to resist. That's why you use psychology to trump biology. Women's seduction starts in their brain and their heart first. When your lady says, "Romance me," and you grunt, "Come kind of like a caveman, and you scratch yourself, and you think, what does she mean, romance me? I know that's what you do. That's where I come in. I'm going to tell you how to romance her so she wants you again for sex. And I'm not going to tell you to buy her gifts or take her on date nights. Oh no, my friend, that will not get you any nookie. Let me show you how to revive her drive by telling you a little story. See if you can relate to Robert. His sex life with Lauren plunged to once a month. He loved her, but he'd come to the conclusion that she had become frigid. He didn't want to cheat. He really just wanted his wife to want him. But all he got were demands all day and the wall of her back at night in bed. He wanted toe-curling, breath-catching, back-arching, intergalactic lovemaking every day. They started out so hot, so sexy. She loved his touch, and she wanted him at least once a day. Now, Robert had been miserable for years, asking, then bargaining, begging. It was a downhill slide to uneasy cohabitation. We all need physical touch, lovemaking, intimacy, desire. Without sex, you die a little every day. And so does your woman, even if she has shut herself down. Do you wish when you walk into the room that her smile would light up again, like when you were dating? But she's tired, hardly ever interested in sex. You want her to sit on your lap, stroke and nuzzle you, and let you cop a little feel. Instead, she says no, or even gets pissed at you if you ask for sex. Why can't she understand how beautiful she is to you and how much you want her? You wish she'd just relax, be a little naughty, and let you do all sorts of erotic things with her. Is it too much to ask for her to rip off your clothes and push you down and lick you till you're moaning? The simple truth is that a man's sexuality is essential. It's primal. And you want to do right by your woman and satisfy her thoroughly. So why does she thwart you? How can you reignite desire so strong she'll beg you again for sex, like that little temptress you married? How can you turn her back on again? Well, here's the plan. For the first time ever, this breakthrough method will revive her sex drive. You can overcome this love chemical castration that's sucking the life out of you with something called the 4 elements of revival. You see, there are 2 conditions and 2 skills that have to be in place for her to want you for sex. And I could have as easily called this the 4 elements of seduction, but it goes beyond just seduction. It goes to rekindling, reviving her sex drive. The 4 elements give you a working model for her reversal or simply to enjoy a seductive relationship where you are leading her sexually. The 4 elements are overcoming her resistance issues, recreating polarity, using seduction psychology, and understanding seductive sexuality. I'm going to go through each of these, and I'm going to list them again so you get them. And I'm also going to give them to you in an ebook. So don't worry, just listen along right now. Okay. So first, if she has resistance issues, we show you how to identify and help her overcome or at least mitigate the resistance issues. And generally, it's actually not that hard. It just takes consistent application of our reversal strategies until one day, non-issue. Next, you may have to inject a bit of masculinity back into your sexual relationship. Our cultural equality has zapped your masculinity in the bedroom. This is called polarity. It's the masculine, feminine, plus and minus. You become a master seducer, and then you lead her between the sheets. Because once she's gotten control of your sex life, that pretty much kills it. Love chemicals or no chemicals. So what you have to do is let go of hoping that she will initiate. Because you don't care who starts the fun, right? Once you have all the moves you need, finally. So once you have the tools to get her turned back on, she will start fantasizing that tonight, maybe you're going to take her on an erotic adventure. Some delicious pleasure ride. So begging, bargaining for sex will be a distant memory. Now, the third element includes the psychological seduction tactics that we women need to feel romantic and aroused. So even when you use our stealth techniques without telling her what you're doing, you'll see she will respond to you immediately. All right, the fourth element of the 4 elements of revival is seductive sexuality. You'll manage her body's arousal networks so she can just let go and enjoy. These are engineered specifically for men whose partners have become resistant to sex, and they come from the wisdom and experience of a dozen specialists who believe that you both have the right to a thriving sex life. So the 4 elements again are: number 1, overcoming any resistance issues that are in the relationship, reestablishing your masculine vision and leadership in the bedroom, using the psychology of seduction the way we women want to be seduced, and understanding sexuality from a seductive perspective, the actual things you do to her body to turn her on. Is Her Sex Drive Repairable is an ebook that you're going to get after this webinar tomorrow. You're going to get a link. Check your spam filter for an email from Personal Life Media. It's going to have links in it for you to download 2 ebooks and an audio file. This first ebook, Is Her Sex Drive Repairable? It tells you all about the 4 elements of revival in more detail. It also tells you the story of 4 men who turned their sex lives around, and they're the most common scenarios. So you can see if your situation is in there, and it might be between 2 guys or something like that, and what they did, like what was their step-by-step turnaround plan. Even one guy who was super impatient. He just wanted to do one thing because he was so frustrated. So I think you'll really enjoy that book. And this actually comes right out of Reviver Drive. It's not like a thing that gets you to, buy or do more or whatever. It's just a part of the program. So you can get a sense of whether this will be something that could help you. So remember Robert? He revived Lauren's drive with these 4 elements. In hindsight, he knows now it doesn't matter how good you think you are in bed when her love chemicals inevitably die out, unless you have these 4 elements on your side to counteract it. So he'd raise the subject with Lauren and she'd say, "Ugh, you're so boring. Is sex all you ever think about?" It was tough on him. And because he couldn't talk to her without getting her mad, he started with my female-friendly stealth turnaround tricks. If what you need to do is get her aroused by you, then you have to start with her heart, her mind, and subtle arousal of her body. These next 10 seduction tips are things you can start to do tonight. Number 1, I want you to start by thinking and truly believing that she is a sexual woman. We are human beings. We are sexual. If the conditions are right, we want to have sex. This is how you can make the conditions right. Number 2, remember that you train her with every action that you take. So you're going to have to take some new actions, because where you are right now is actually because of the actions you have done and she has done, right? Number 3, you're going to start to reward any good behavior she exhibits during this turnaround. When she does something that is more erotic, more sensual, something you like, you're going to really reward her for that. Number 4, you're going to learn your mutual relationship values. I can tell you that she's in relationship with you for an entirely different set of reasons than you're in relationship with her. What would happen if you got up every day and said, I'm going to give her the top 4 things she wants from me? And if she started getting those, how eager would she be to get up in the morning and start giving you the 4 things that you want from her? And if one of those things happens to be passion, and you know how to seduce her, what would it be like? Number 5, when was the last time you held her and looked her in the eyes? Often, when a guy isn't getting the passion he needs, he shuts down. And if you want to turn her around, you have to look her in the eyes. This is what turns her body on. Number 6, you have to reawaken her to her sensual self. That's what you're really going to be doing. You're going to be bringing pleasure into her life. You're going to start with sensual pleasure that is not sexual. Number 7, you're going to give her a menu of small offers to which she will excitedly say, "Oh, yes, yes, I want that." Number 8, this is one women love. I tell a woman about this, and every time she says, "Oh, I want that. I want that." It's this idea of physically claiming her with private moments that remind her she's your woman. This gets back that polarity. And it's when you put your hands on her. Maybe you rest your hand on her thigh when you're riding in the car, or you put your hand in the small of her back as you stand next to her at a party, or you put your arm around her and let her go through the door first. This is what tells your woman she's yours, and it turns her on. Number 9, safety, trust, and surrender. They're all entwined. If she can't just let go, how can she let go sensually? You're going to figure out what makes it safe for her to surrender to her sensual desires. And then you're going to give that to her. And number 10, you're going to start to match and mirror the way she loves on you. Match and mirror her cues, and she'll feel like you get her and reward you beautifully. This is that idea that instead of doing to her what you want her to do to you, you're doing to her what she's doing to you, and then she feels you get her. All right, all 10 of those are explained in more detail in the Stealth Turnaround Tricks, a conflict-free approach ebook that I'm going to send you tomorrow in your email from Personal Life Media. Check your spam filter. Check your spam folder in your email client, and if it's not there and you use webmail, go into the website through your web browser and check the spam folder there. Because every single time someone says, "I didn't get it," and then we have them do those two things, it's in there. So it's there. Our systems work. You're going to get this. Go find it. And then if you still can't find it, send us an email, support@personallifemedia.com. I'm going to have that email at the end of the webinar too, because I want to make sure you get everything. So I'm just kind of covering the details. Okay, let's keep going. So Robert turned Lauren into a pleasure-seeking device in the first day using these stealth turnaround tricks. He saw that she would be receptive. She would respond to him, and that gave him the courage to do the rest of the work. He started giving her the 4 things a woman fundamentally requires to be sexually aroused. He leveraged positive feedback loops to massively reinforce every step of progress she made becoming more sexual. He created safety in the 3 ways women need to surrender their bodies to sensual abandon. Once he got her on a positive spiral, her body started craving more and more sensual stimulation. It's that slippery slope. Then those hormones kicked in again like a turbo booster to make their sex life even hotter. That's the beauty of oxytocin. It repeats itself. Now that he understood her arousal networks, when he put her hands on her, she experienced incredible pleasure. How do you get a woman to have sex with you? Have her experience incredible pleasure, and she will definitely want to. He moved her into non-verbal realms, eliminating her sabotaging thoughts and her negative self-talk while he was seducing her. And Lauren suddenly was having fun with Robert again. He powerfully transformed her with self-image projection, giving her massive erotic experiences completely beyond anything they'd had when they were dating. He used something called zone theory until she begged him, "Put it in!" Through his unwavering tenderness, some stealth techniques to get started, and his customized plan, Robert and Lauren rediscovered the powerful forces of love that had always existed between them. Soon, she started encouraging him to think up sexy new things to do together. She wanted dirty talk, expanded orgasms, and, best of all for Robert, a new lingerie wardrobe. Who could say no to that? You can revive her drive, no matter how shut down she has been. It is not too much to want her to meet you at the door, scantily clad, offering sloppy, wet kisses. She wants sex too. Read it. Look at that. Believe that. She does. She wants sex too. But she has no idea what to do, nor is it her job. So she simply shut herself down, turned herself off. Once you bring her out of her numbness, you are going to be her hero. I know you still crave that moment when she might slide on top of you in the morning and ride you until she's spent. Ready to be a master seducer? Her erotic genius? Don't let hormones kick your butt. Use this breakthrough seduction method to kickstart her libido again. Maybe you're dreaming she'll drop to her knees halfway up the stairs as she drags you up to the bedroom. Stimulate her heart and mind, and she will. The 4 elements are an indisputably different, fast return path. You can't just grab her and get it on. It takes a plan with finesse. So here's the plan. Now, I have no idea the specifics of your relationship. Men from all over the world of all ages and races come here and they are interested in what I have to say. So I'm going to do my best for you. I'm going to give you a typical plan here, okay? Later in the webinar, I'm going to introduce you to my program, not to sell you, just to clarify how you can personalize it from here. I'm very aware that I promised you content and not a sales pitch, so don't worry. But I can't get into more detail for you without mentioning the system, so I'm going to. So please, go easy on me here because I am in service to your success. So first, you're going to ask yourself the 4 questions to know if your situation can be helped. In just a minute, I'll go over these questions with you. I'll ask them and you can kind of see them in your mind. Next, you'll decide on which of the 4 elements of revival you need to focus because they might not all be required for your relationship. Does she have resistance issues you need to support her to overcome? Do you need to have more of a masculine-feminine balance in the bedroom again? What seductive sexuality techniques are you going to do that will be fun for you and her and she'll enjoy? There may be some sexual skills that you can add to your toolkit that will want her to desire you more. And what are you going to do to make her comfortable? How will you get her in her body, feeling things again, relaxed, so she wants to be sexual with you? And most importantly, wants to willingly surrender her nervous system to you because you're going to make it feel good to her. You're going to take her on an incredible erotic pleasure ride. If you can do that, she's yours. Once she knows that she can trust that it will feel good to her without her having to try so hard. Once you have a step-by-step system that is irresistible to your lady, then she's going to want to have more sex more often with you. Now I'm going to segue a little into the program here. I want you to have an idea of the resources that are available to you. I will just inform you so you can think about your situation in the context with the strategies that I offer. And at the end, I'll give you a way to get extra bonuses too if you want more. So far, here's what we've covered. I'm just going to do a recap. Declining love chemicals, how to handle resistance issues, the lack of polarity that might exist, the need for seduction skills that women respond to, right? How to seduce a woman, and a need for more understanding of her arousal systems as the likely cause of this dissatisfaction you're feeling. Now, the secret, we also covered that there are 2 skills and 2 conditions you have to create to get those love chemicals pumping again. And then the plan that includes these 4 questions we're going to go over. Robert's turnaround story. I already took you through what he did. And we went over the 10 seduction tips that she'll love and this fast return path overview that we're in now. So I've already delivered you a ton of content, and we can't be here all day. I know you have things to do, like go seduce your woman. So I know we're still at a 10,000 foot view, right? I totally get that. And how do you go that level deeper and customize some specifics that you're going to do with her? Well, that's what Revive or Drive is designed to do. It's designed to give you the big picture and then let you pick your specifics. So I want to give you a way to personalize your turn on or turn around and turn on plan. And this is my program. So I'm just going to explain what it is so you know what it is. It's not a physical thing. You don't get DVDs or a book. It's actually an online website. It's a membership site that you buy access to. You pay for it, and then you get in there, and there are all these different things that you can listen to and or read. So there are a dozen interviews with my favorite specialists, and I interview them, and I specifically ask them about these issues like the 4 keys to seduction, alpha masculinity, the dance of polarity, ejaculatory choice, erotic adventures, erotic communication. This is what women like. This is what we want. How to create lifelong passion, what it takes to be a masterful lover, secret arousal maps. This is the network of her body. How to seduce her with integrity. Any sexual sticking points that you need to overcome. How you sustain attraction over many different years. Those are the dozen interviews that I did with my favorite specialists. You can read the ebooks or you can just listen to them. And I like to listen, but everybody's different. And then what I did was I've given you the 4 elements of revival and the stealth turnaround tricks and a fast start guide. I've given you a book on relationship values. And then I put together some, and is her sex drive repairable, which I'm giving you as well. And then I put together overcoming resistance and surrender and trust. These are 2 of the biggest issues. How do you help her overcome anything that's holding her back from wanting sex? And it's a compilation from all of the experts, as is how do you create the trust so she can surrender her body to you? And that's from all of the experts, as is the what I called the fear of missing out. I should have called it something like, here's what you're shooting for, like the best things you can possibly have if your sex life is super hot and turned on. Like if your sex life isn't as great as you want it to be, how great can it be? I did a compilation audio where you could hear all dozen experts talking about like what it's like when it's super hot and juicy. And then the other sampler collection is the 21 deadly mistakes men in relationship make that destroy her arousal. And I'm sending that one to you so you can hear all the experts and get a sense of the quality of the content that's in there. So all of this is on a website you get access to, and then you can download everything. You can access it from any browser anywhere as much as you want, but you can also download it to your computer or to your smartphone or your MP3 player or your Kindle or your iPad or whatever for people who are on the go. So I just want to let you know how it works because, you know, if you're thinking, okay, this is of interest to me and I didn't explain it, you'd be mad. But if I take too long in explaining it, you'll be mad because you're saying it's all about the product. So I'm stopping now and you can go to the website and learn more. But that's the basics, okay? So what this does is allow you to steadily either activate her sex drive or reawaken it and bring it back. And because it's all accessible online, it's on your own time schedules. Because a lot of guys are like, how long is this going to take? So you get a self-paced troubleshooting guide, a lot of audio that's not just prescriptive, but extremely motivational and inspiring, and a way to customize your own plan. So let's ask these questions to get started. Number 1, does your relationship have a strong sense of you being the man and her being feminine? If it doesn't, the kind of things you'd want to look at would be lifelong passion. How to Sustain Attraction, The Masterful Lover's Manifesto. It's a 2-part series. The Dance of Polarity, and Alpha Masculinity. Because a lot of guys know they need masculinity, but they don't actually know what it's going to take. What is it? What do I do? And that's what these answer. What do I do? How do I do it? Number 2, does your woman shrink from the thought of having sex with you? If she does, I'm super sorry, but I also know that if she thinks it's her wifely duty now, you definitely can make it her favorite job. Remember that cute little pancake flipper? So if that's the issue, that's the biggest issue for you, you would start by listening to or reading Overcoming Her Resistance, Seduction Integrity, The 4 Keys to Seduction. This is with Dr. Patty Taylor, who is my mentor, and she teaches you the basics of her Seduction Trilogy program, which is the 4 keys to seduction you could literally use for the rest of your life to keep getting better sex with your woman. You would also listen to Sexual Sticking Points and that compilation called Trust and Surrender. It's a big one. Number 3, has the honeymoon period been over in your relationship? Does it feel like a platonic arrangement? So if that's your case, then sustaining attraction, erotic communication, which is what we women love, lifelong passion, which is a beautiful interview, how to create erotic adventures. Tallulah gives, 463 different erotic adventures, not really 463, but like so many great ideas that you're going to be like, oh, which one am I going to do first? And then ejaculatory choice, which is managing your ejaculation and your erection. And then marital passion, which is, how do you keep it hot for 2,563 nights of sleeping together? And question number 4, to see if this plan will work for you and if this is something, if your situation is revivable. Are you having sex, but it's desultory? Is it boring? Is the spark gone? Do you want more variety and spontaneity? If so, then you would start with the secret maps to buried pleasure, seductive sexuality, mistakes you could be making, which I'm sending you, and that beautiful fear of missing out. What's the big picture in your sexual potential? All right. So this breakthrough seduction method, no one's ever done anything like this, distills everything 12 specialists know about kickstarting any woman's libido. That's what this is about. Seduce your woman. And these are those beautiful people. And you can see just by the way they look, they come from like all different, they're all different ages. They're both sexes. These are people who have very different perspectives because you're going to like some of them more than others. You're going to need the help of some of them more than others. And so I really wanted variety so that you could find a lot of things that would really work for you. Because I know when your nights are filled with incredible pleasure and passion with your woman, your whole life catches fire. And I want that for you. I want it for her too. So I'm giving you these. Is there sex drive repairable, stealth turnaround tricks, and the 21 deadly mistakes so you can check out the quality and the positioning of what I do in the system I've created with my experts. And to thank you for attending this webinar. You deserve the best offer possible. So do you want access to an exclusive 4-day Insiders Club sale that I'm having very soon? Reviver Drive is off the market right now anyway. You couldn't even buy it right now. I'm sorry if I got you all excited. You can't even buy it now until Thursday, September 22nd. That's when we're making it available and when we're doing this kind of secret Insiders Club for our webinar attendees and our special insider guys who get special links from our partners. And so the only way that you can get my very best offer to try Revive Her Drive is to sign up for something called early notification. Now, when you sign up, you get some extra things that other guys don't get. It'll go on sale on that day and anyone can buy it. But if you're on this early notification list, you're going to go to this webpage right after the webinar and sign up if you want to, only if you want to. You'll click on this button that should have popped up on the right now. Now, if you have a pop-up blocker on, that button's not going to pop up. So I'll tell you how you can still register. You'll go to reviveherdrive.com/early with a capital E _ notification with a capital N. So it would be reviveherdrive.com/capital E early _ N notification. Or you can send an email to us. I'll give you my email address at the end. There's plenty of ways you can get the information about what to sign up for. It's going to be in your email. It should pop up to the right. There's lots of ways. So don't worry. We'll get you taken care of if you have a pop-up blocker and you don't know how to fix it. But if you have the button popping up right now and you're interested at least in being on the list, you can turn me down later. It's not a problem. I only want it if it's right for you to connect with you. Then get on that list because there's some extra stuff. Early notification customers get the option to purchase an hour before everyone else who's waiting for the sale because they can't buy it right now. And the first 500 of men like you that order also receive some exclusive bonuses that I personally selected for this sale. These 4 exclusive bonuses are: Number 1, the art of prolonging a woman's ecstasy. This is an audio interview where my mentor, Dr. Patty Taylor, who's part of this program, she's interviewed by Dr. Raj, one of her students, about how you give your partner sexual pleasure for a really long time that takes you into heights of this prolonged ecstasy. You'll be able to find and stay on her favorite spot, take her higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and over the edge as many times as you want. Number 2, you get an ebook also from Dr. Patty called The 7 Questions to Ask to Get What You Want in Bed. Now, it's not what you say to get what you want in bed. It's what you ask to get what you want in bed, because sometimes questions are better than answers. You're going to use these to navigate to new heights. Number 3, an audio interview of me interviewing a pickup artist. It's called A Pickup Artist Seduction Secrets to Reignite Your Relationship. John from Sins of Attraction shares his favorite pickup strategies that can work for married guys and guys in long-term relationships. And you're going to get a really interesting ebook called What the Caveman Knew: Increase Her Love Chemicals to Recreate Trust and Intimacy. Susan Kaczynskis is the world's leading authority on this hormone called oxytocin. Now, when you give your woman orgasms, she gets more oxytocin, which means she loves you and she wants even more orgasms. But there are 3 other things that also increase oxytocin, and I'm going to give you the ebook to tell you what they are. So the first 500 guys who purchase on September 22nd, 2011 will get those 4 bonuses in addition to the program. It's free to sign up right now. There's no obligation. You're not committing to purchase. And I want to tell you that a year from now, because if you're still here and you do this, your gal will be so grateful you made this decision right now to move forward and take control of your sex life. So I have one more valuable sweetener for you too. I almost forgot to tell you about this. Let me make sure I get this for you. Early notification buyers, when you're on that list and you purchase, you don't even have to be one of first 500 guys. If you're a little slow, no worries. I'm giving you a $100 gift certificate for another one of my programs from Personal Life Media. So you're going to spend $97, you're going to get $100. Dr. Patty Taylor's Expand Her Orgasm Tonight 21-day program for partners is how you give her a whole bunch of multiple orgasms. And it's a couples training program. You learn with her. She learns with you. It's a 21-day. You get to do these like sexy play dates together. Or you might be interested in what is called the ultimate orgasm, the female liquid or ejaculatory orgasm. If that's something you and your gal have been interested in trying, Tallulah walks you step by step through a couples program that will help you give her this liquid orgasm. Now, if resistance and stress has been a big problem, you and your woman could benefit from Elisa Kreitman's masterful techniques that free you from fears and anxieties and stress. They're techniques like breathing and meditation that you will love. And Elisa is absolutely adorable, and that might be the thing that you would prefer. So when you enter your first name and your best email address, here's what you get. You get an hour early notice. You get a $100 gift certificate with your purchase. And if you're the first 500 guys, you get 4 exclusive bonuses I outlined earlier. But I have to warn you that if you truly use these tools, she might become an insatiable little nympho. How would that be? I love that. So, I love this too. Get first crack at our best offer ever. Click here to register now. And you're welcome to go to reviveherdrive.com anytime between now and the 22nd of September if you want to know more. There's plenty more information on the site. If you have questions, there's 2 ways to send them to us. Number 1, you can send an email to us at support@personallifemedia.com anytime, and we will reply. Or if you're on the website and you just have a quick question, feel free, if we're online live, to pop up that little blue box there and just type your question in. We'll either get back to you immediately or we'll get back to you via email. All right. If you have any unanswered questions from this webinar, please feel free to use the box below to ask your questions. If I've missed something or you have a comment, please be nice. Seriously. This is really me. And sometimes people hurt my feelings, like the anonymity of the web. Be very kind, but ask whatever you need to ask. I have heard it all, and I'll be happy to respond to you. I really want your satisfaction in all ways. And so, nothing is out of the question. If you've got a personal issue and you think that it's around seduction and turning your woman on and those kinds of things, it's okay to ask. All right. Well, are you ready to harvest the seeds of pleasure you are going to plant in her mind and in her heart? I just want to thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for staying till the end. I really hope it's been beneficial. I really want it to be good for you. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you about all of this. We've covered a lot of ground. We've gotten a lot of content for you, and thank you so much, and Godspeed and good luck to you. Take care.